Hey guys, Alex here from Homeschool of Bel Air. On today's video, I was going to share with you guys an updated room tour for the 2020-2021 school year. If you're interested to see what we've got going on for this next school year, stay tuned. Okay, so you guys might notice I do have a lot of homeschool room tours in my channel. The reason for that is because every school year, I tend to feel like we need an update on our schoolroom, and we do. It just makes it feel fresh. It makes it feel new. Okay, so I've made a couple changes to our schoolroom, and I wanted to share those with you. If you follow me on Instagram, you have probably seen most of the new updates that I've made in my schoolroom. If you don't, then here is the video showing you all the new things we've got going on. Okay, so the best way to probably start this video is by starting at the entrance. So the entryway has changed quite a bit. We used to have a gate that went from this wall to this wall here. And it was just like a large security gate for the kids. This used to be a playroom before we turned it into a schoolroom. I have since taken that gate off. I actually took it off a couple of probably weeks ago. And that actually allowed me to move this white unit from this little wall here, and it used to actually stick out quite a bit, to that wall. This is a closet here, so it actually fits perfectly along that side of that wall. So I kind of like it better. This unit doesn't house a lot of things that we use so frequently that I needed it here. So I kind of like it better there because it's basically just storage. And I'll show you guys that, not super in depth, but I'll show you guys what it houses. So the other main difference is this little unit here. This unit we found at Goodwill, and I was going to put it in the kids' room for toys, but I used to have this big gray shelf here that housed a bunch of just ugly stuff. It housed pretty much all of this stuff and some of that stuff there. And it just looked real ugly, and I decided, because all this is opened up now because of the gate, and I had moved this shelf here, it was just all open and you can see it, and it was just like a really ugly view. So what I decided to do was I brought that unit up here instead. I stuck that gray shelf, I gave it to my husband and put it in the garage, and basically all the stuff that was out here, I stuck in here, and all of the art supplies that were actually in this white unit, I brought out here. And I bought a few containers for some of the stuff just to kind of make everything look neater and prettier since it was going to be out. But I'll show you guys real quick the closet. The closet's kind of dark, so it's going to be really hard to see. But I do house just things that I don't want the kids getting into. Some of the starch for some crafts. I do have a little bin here with scrunchies, a comb, and some just other things for Evelyn's hair. There's times where she comes up dressed, but then her hair is a wreck. So I like to have extra supplies for her hair up here. I have my comb binding machine, laminator, hole punchers, paper cutters. Our backpacks are all in here for when we go to the park for nature walks. All of my construction paper and art papers up here on this side. There's more art paper on that side. Paper towels. This bin is actually full of construction paper, like pieces that we cut out that we use for crafting. I don't throw paper away. I save it in here because we could always use it for other projects. So I save that in there. These bins here are what we use for our art class every Friday. This is what we put our paintbrushes and water in. Those are from the Dollar Tree. I love those for that. Down here is just extra bins, extra trays, and an extra tripod, and acrylic paint. I don't let the kids play with acrylic paint, so that is back there. I have a few art supplies here, but it's just extra stuff that I don't always allow the kids to play with. And then seasonal holiday type stuff. These are foam stickers that I only bring out if we're doing certain crafts. And then extra craft supplies, clothespins. There's some of these extra little cheapy paintbrushes. I'll show you guys what I use those for in a bit. Beads. And then there's like tissue paper and other things down in those drawers there. And those are actually my husband's comic books and magazines and things like that. So we don't really mess with that stuff. Out here is where we have all of our art supplies now, like the stuff that we use basically every Friday or when we do special crafts. So up here, I have all of my tempera paints, and I love these for just simple arts and crafts. Like we use these actually quite a bit. All of my oil pastels are here, and charcoals are here. And there's just extra oil pastels back there. There's like, I like to buy just plain white and plain black packs. So that's what those are. And I think these are extra Sharpies. Yeah, extra Sharpies. I had bought a new set of oil pastels actually a couple weeks ago. So that's that one. These are some little foam stampers that I actually found at Goodwill back before quarantine went into effect. And Evelyn uses these quite a bit, so I leave them out. These are foam shapes, and Evelyn uses these a lot also, so I leave those out. Down here, this bin has our watercolor trays, like these here, and then there's some Melissa and Doug watercolors. These are from IKEA, and then my tempura cakes. I love tempura paints, so all of my tempura cakes are down here. We have all those different bins. That is mainly what we use for our art classes. Next to that one, I have all of my paintbrushes. So all the paintbrushes are here in like those little color trays. And next to that, we have our daubers. And the kids still use these quite a bit. Under that, we have all of my actual crafting supplies. So I have like the little tissue papers. There's a big thing of pom-poms, the googly eyes. This bin here has glitter. This one here has sequins. And then Evelyn just recently picked out a new little thing of glitter glues last time we were at the Dollar Tree. This one has more sequins here. Evelyn loves sequins, so we use sequins quite a bit for her crafting. There's feathers and some of those pipe cleaners and straws. And these are just like the swiggly type scissors, like a whole pack. Next to that, I have Crayola markers. There's Play-Doh, glue, and then under that, I have more crafting type of supplies. So we have paper plates that we use for crafts, these little cups for water or paint or anything like that, popsicle sticks, and then there's more popsicle sticks back there. These are the little sponge stampers and sponge brushes. Evelyn tends to use these quite a bit. And then down here at the last one, we have the little paint sticks. And back there, we have the tube watercolor paints. Okay, so now backing away from that area, here to this corner, I actually set up a little art table. This is Evelyn's old desk table, and I'll show you guys what I did for her. But I had my husband cut down the legs to make it just a little shorter so it fit these little chairs here that we've had for years. And I just set up a little art station. This is mainly because Evelyn still does, I try to keep her busy a lot of times throughout the week. When it comes to schooling, if I don't have time to work with her, she has this little corner that she can come to and draw, paint. And I'll show you guys how I set it up. So in here, I set up this roll, which is from, I think it was from the Target bullseye area. And it's like a scroll with different activities. So I sometimes roll this out for her. She has some Melissa and Doug triangle crayons. She also has one of the little Melissa and Doug paint sets in here. And then just a ton of paper. She has construction paper. She has some of these paint with water books. So I kind of just stuck them all in here. She has a piece of cardboard. Just different things that she can just be creative with. There's a little blank book, more of these paint with water, some just blank paper notebooks. And then I recently got them these drawing pads. And I got one for each one of the kids so they can come and draw and feel free to just kind of, you know, be artistic and do whatever they want when they're in this little corner. Now, as far as the little trays, these little trays I got at Dollar General a couple years back. I've never seen them before, or I've never seen them ever since I got them that one time. So I don't know if they still sell them. This was going to be the kids' pencil caddies for their desks, but because of the odd shape, it was just kind of weird. It was just kind of weird. So I never ended up using them. So I kind of just had them stored away. But ever since I set up Evelyn's little art area, they actually work perfect for this little art area. And I kind of just have them squeezed in between the wall and the desk. And they actually sit here really perfectly. So basically, everything in here, nothing was new. Everything was just used crayons from the previous school year that I just had in a bin. So I stuck them all in here. There's some old color pens that I used to have in my notebook, some of these IKEA stampers, some old watercolor trays, and then these little cheapy paintbrushes that I usually get from Amazon in like a big box. So those are what she uses whenever she's just here. In here, there's just an old pair of Melissa & Doug scissors, a little cheapy glue stick, some of these crazy art markers that I've had for years, and then some other random markers up here. So like I said, nothing here was new. Everything was used. So it wasn't even anything that I bought new for this corner. This lamp used to be Vincent's. These little cups here, I just have old pencils for her and some old IKEA markers that we had from the previous school years. And then these were my little pipsqueak markers, and a lot of them have just kind of dried out, and you know, Evelyn likes to use them, so I stuck them all in there. These are our color pencils from just like previous school years, and so I stuck them in here for Evelyn. And then some little Crayola paints. Actually, this we did buy new, but we bought them for some other little project that we had going on. So I just stuck them in here. Evelyn likes to use them quite a bit. And then there's one of these IKEA scrolls here. And then like I said, the chairs are old. This is something that we had bought at IKEA years and years ago. This is when Vincent and Adrian were little. These were their little chairs they had in their room. Down there, I have a big bin of just old crayons. And on this side, we just have a little purple table that we set out sometimes if they want to work on the floor, and then an old chalkboard. So these were color posters that I found through Teacher Pay Teachers. I want to say they were for free for the set. And what I did was I printed them out small, and I kind of just hung them up here. They're all supposed to be about this size, but I printed them 4 to a sheet, I think it was. And I love them. I think they look so cute in that little corner. Okay, and as far as this white unit, I'm not going to go super in depth as to what is stored in here. If you've seen my other videos before for the room tour, nothing has really changed. This is all extra school supplies. This is basically just anything homeschool storage is just going to be in here when it comes to flashcards, extra ink for my printer, some of these protective sheets, anything like that is just going to be stored inside of these. Extra folders, crayons, pencils, my comb binding stuff. And that is basically what I have in these units here. So let me go ahead and move on to our library area. The library area has basically stayed the same. We have all of our picture books all in this side. This is what we're using for history right now. So all the books are laid out here. There's like chapter books. Our Chicano study books are down there, which we have not done in a long time. I'm hoping to get back to that. Magazines, like highlight magazines. And then these are all more like picture books for Evelyn. They're like the thick cardboard type books. And I don't know what they're called, but like these types of books. So a lot of that kind of stuff is mainly for Evelyn here. And then this is more of our like reference books, anything that's more on an educational, poetry. Some of the readers are down here, science-y type stuff here, along with some up here. So that is kind of what I have all in this area here. And then on this corner here, I moved the little bins for our math manipulatives. So this is all stuff that I tend to bring out for the kids if they're working on a certain concept or anything like that. The kids do tend to make a mess with some of the counters and things like that. So I kind of have them in bins. So if they do want to bring them out, they can bring them out just like one little bin at a time and not make a huge mess. And then down here, it's like the place value, money, anything like that is down at the bottom. My magnetic fraction apples are here. There's some little 10 frame choo-choo trains that we really don't use. The kids like to use them for just plain. And then there's a big galaxy book here. And then my little weight thing is here. And then some Lakeshore Learning fraction tiles are there. I recently set this up for the boys. They still have a lot of trouble when it comes to me telling them to write a sentence. They have just a hard time spelling words out. So I made a little sight word magnetic wall for them. So these here are little magnetic tiles that I got at Lakeshore Learning actually. And I set them up alphabetically, so like that they now know if they're looking for a B sight word or an A sight word, they can come and try to find it. it's easier for them to spell the word out without them trying to do it by memory, because sometimes they just have a hard time. So I set that up there, and sorry, there's like all these little tape marks that I'm gonna have to try to scrub off. So this is a new thing also in my schoolroom. We started a nature area because we just started nature journaling. And next to that, real quick, is just a quick little bin with just those roll-up maps and things like that. And there's like a big atlas book back there and things like that, my sharpener. Okay, so the nature area. So this is somewhat new. Everything that is on here was purchased at Goodwill. When it comes to like the shelf itself, the little baskets and things like that. Some of these things I already had, like this was part of Melissa and Doug puzzle. But like this little green thing here, that was I found that at Goodwill. And then the rest of the stuff, this too, I found this at Goodwill. And then my little Texas wooden, so cute. It's like a little wooden Texas. Okay, so I'll show you guys what I have in my little nature area, because like I said, this is a newer thing that we added mid-school year, I think it was. Okay, so up top I have a little jar with some magnifying glasses, and then here is actually there was some water in here that my son had gotten at the park, and it had like little floaty things in it, so it was really cool to see. These are just rocks that they've gathered. Here we just have a little terrarium type plant in here. And then here are our duck bones. We had found a dead duck in our backyard, and we saved all the bones. So all the bones are here. This was actually a feather that was next to that, so we kind of saved that also. This was some wildflowers that I had picked at the park across the street, and they died off and dried, and I just love the way they look, so I kept them. And my little acorn, we're waiting for fall, but there's little acorns in there, not very many. It's kind of rinkety-dink right now, but that is what my idea was with this, to just find as many acorns as possible and fill that up with acorns. And then these are just some branches that the kids pick up sometimes when they go outside. Around Christmas time, we make ornaments and we hang ornaments. They actually had, for Cinco de Mayo, they made these little piñatas, and we had those hanging, but I kept knocking it over, so I just hung them there. But we usually decorate our little branches. This here is another thing we found across the street at a park. It was part of and if anybody knows what kind of plant this is, but there was like, I know it comes from a tree, I just don't know what it's called. So we picked a bunch of those up last time we went to the park. This mat here actually got at Goodwill. Down here we just have this little fake dinosaur fossil thing that my nephew got the kids at a museum. They have their little magnifying glass. If you guys don't own one of these, you guys are missing out. These things are amazing. My husband got this for the kids for Christmas, I think 2 years ago, and it's probably one of the best things ever. Here we just have some of the things that we find in our backyard, actually. Believe it or not, we find a lot of seashells. Somebody told us that all this area used to be underwater, so we tend to find a lot of seashells here. Across the street, there's a lot of clams and different little sea life, so we tend to find a lot of this kind of stuff all over the property, all over the area. This is our little egg carton, just things that we find. Snail shells, cicada shells. We find a lot of these in our backyard also. This, I think the kids found this last time we went to the park. So just a bunch of awesome things that they find. This one, Adrian was doing a little study on the parts of a tree, and so he had to gather all this stuff and label it. Some of our books that we use when we want to look through some nature study type stuff. Our nature study books here. My son did one of these rain sticks for a lesson we did. And then in here we have our nature study like journals and what the kids take with them to the park, their watercolors and things like that. And I'll try to do, when I do the curriculum update and all that stuff, I'll go more in depth with all this stuff here because we did start that mid-year, and we're going to try to get more into it in this coming school year. So the next thing that is different is my chalkboard. So I decided to get rid of the whiteboard and do a chalkboard. And this is actually my whiteboard. I just painted with the chalk paint at the back of it. So it's the same board that I had before. It's just now a chalkboard. So down here, I found these books actually at Goodwill last time I went. And they're just awesome little books. I've looked for some of them on eBay, but they're pretty expensive. It's just books that you learn good values with. And they're all based on famous people. So it's almost like here, The Value of Helping, and is a story of Harriet Tubman. So it teaches you about helping based on Harriet Tubman. And so like you have The Value of Giving, the story of Beethoven. So I'm actually thinking of buying, well, I kind of wanted to buy the whole set, but like I said, from the ones that I found on eBay, they've been pretty pricey. But I was actually pretty lucky to find all these, and they were all like $1 each. So I just went ahead and bought all of them. I think I paid like $13 for all of them. I think they were having a sale also that day. I can't remember. So here's our little plant, Spiky, or I forgot what the kids named it, Spiky or Sparky or something. Our globe, which is broken and old, and I'm actually in the market for a new one. So if anybody has any recommendations, please let me know in the comments. Here we have our little paper holder, and this is all of our construction paper, and all the chalkboard erasers back there, and then magnetic letters, and Evelyn's little sight word thing that we use for sight words. And then all these bins here have different games and phonic type stuff. This is all like the preschool type. Anything that I use mainly for preschool is all in there. I'm gonna have to redo all that stuff. More phonic type activities, and then the yellow one is math, so it's more math stuff. Okay, so now for Evelyn's corner. So Evelyn's corner has changed. I gave her my old desk, which is a corner desk. I minimized the size of my desk, so now my desk is just that long one, instead of before how I had that Mikey desk there, and then this desk came out this way. So like I said, I gave Evelyn my Mikey desk, and I just kept the regular table. And it was kind of hard for me to minimize my desk because I have so much stuff. But a lot of the stuff that I had out, I just ended up transferring into that white unit. So it's no big deal. Okay, so Evelyn's corner. So everything's basically the same. The main difference is that she now has my old Mikey desk. I took the shelves off. I'm using one of the shelves here, and the other shelf is under my desk, housing like let me show you guys real quick, housing like my radio, some equipment for recording and cleaning supplies, and then my trash cans right there. So that is what I'm using the little shelves that came with the Mikey for. For Evelyn, it's just her little desk. She has a little handwriting without tears chalkboard that we sometimes use for letter formation. All the kids use this one, but Evelyn uses it the most. And then her little focus wall. I'm trying to think if anything else has changed. This unit is basically the same. The way that we're doing language arts is I combined the boys a couple months ago. So they're both doing the same language arts. So any story that we're reading, I kind of just put any accompanying stories here. Evelyn tends to join us for that also. So she tends to do that with us. And then all her stuff that she's doing right now, she's technically in summer school, and all we're doing right now is this. And I'll show you guys this. I'll probably show you guys in a later video also. She's just working out of a interactive notebook for the letter sounds, and that is all we're focusing on for the summer. Come next fall, I am really hoping to have her know all her letter sounds so we can continue on with school, but we're on a halt. We are in a halt. So that is all basically she's doing right now. And I'll go over all this stuff in another video. So like I said, her work boxes are there. All the tray work and all that stuff. I had already switched everything out to just like puzzles, just like things to keep her busy when I'm not focused on her schooling. So it's that kind of stuff there. Her yellow unit is here now, and it's right under our calendar. And then I already said my desk, my printer's down there. This cart here is also new. That is what I call my reading cart. And that is when I'm working with reading with Evelyn, this is what I take with me to her desk. Or we sometimes actually just do it here on the floor. But this has anything that we're working on that's not curriculum related. That's just like extra phonic help. I have some of my sound cards here. Also my little phonic picture cards that we work on quite a bit. These are the ones that she's actually working on right now. And then we are also currently working out of the reading lesson a lot more. I give her a page from this every once in a while. So anything more just reading related that we're working on is going to be here. I still have my CD player here with Hooked on Phonics, so we do that once in a while. Down here, she has her own little magnetic letters. We do a lot of word building. I also have some of the what is it called? The Muffet Girl pre-primer sight word. What is it, like the pyramid things? I forgot what they're called. So those are there. Any little activity type of thing that Evelyn might be working on for her phonics, her Bob books. She's already on the 3rd Bob book. So we're making some progress. I also have some of her little readers, like the little, the Dash into Reading books are here. And then some other little phonic books that I have. So all that kind of stuff is here. And this, whenever I just feel like giving her something extra when it comes to phonics, that is where I go to. And I just kind of like to keep it all together like that. I'm not digging around everywhere looking for it. Okay, so down here, I have my new clock, calendar, computer, new printer. That is actually a new printer. My husband upgraded me to a Epson. Let me see if I can find it. So it's an Epson Workforce 7720. I love it, but my heart is just going back to that 3460 that I used to have. This one, the printing settings, I just haven't managed to just kind of adjust it quite right. So a lot of the things that I print have lines going through them. So I'm going to have to try to call the company and try to figure out if they can help me install the settings a little better. But I do love it. I mean, it works amazing. It's just, and it uses the same type of ink cartridges as my old one. So I have a ton of that ink. It's just, I can't get those lines out of the printing. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Okay, let me move on. So this is my curriculum shelf here. And that box here is a lot of the new curriculum for this coming school year that I have I need to separate. And then the other new thing is my toy chest area. The kids named the store the toy chest. And what this is a little reward system for the kids. And they earn chips, which are right there. And every 4 chips is pretty much like a quarter. So every 4 chips, they get $1. And the money's back here. So there's the money. So it's like little fake money that they get. So what they do is they accumulate money based on the chips that they get for just doing a good job, whether it be their chores, school, wrestling practice, whatever it might be. And this little store I set up, and everything's from the Dollar Tree, guys. So everything was $1 in here, but I set the prices pretty high. So there's things that are $3, there are things that are $10, $5. There are things that are $1, $2, $3, things like that. But right now, I am trying to teach them to save up their money. I'm trying to teach them to do better with their schoolwork so they can earn these chips and then want to buy some of this stuff. And this is an old fire hydrant case that my husband actually found at Goodwill years ago. And we just had it in the garage. And we needed something with a lock. And this has a lock because a couple years back when I had a little treasure chest area for the kids to pick out little goodie things from a goodie box, Evelyn would take everything from it. So I decided to find something with the lock and key, and my husband was like, I have this case and it works perfectly and it keeps everything safely. Okay, so now to this area. This area is my closet. I keep my extra like phonic and games and things like that in here. And our craft table. This is the table that we bring out anytime we have a dirty kind of art project or any kind of art project, really. My lazy dog is right here, and I haven't introduced her to you guys. So this is Luna, everybody, and she is officially a year and February, March, April, May. So she's a year and 4 months. And she is the best addition to our family, and we love her so much. She's like the sweetest, gentlest little giant there is. And we're just glad to have her. And she's our baby. She's our little baby. So that is Luna. And I know I've talked about her a lot in my last videos that I recorded. So yes, guys, this is Luna. And she is an Argentinian dogo. And they're bred for hunting boar so that she can actually technically take down a boar. We're here at the house. She's scared of our cat. So That tells you something, right? Okay, so let me go ahead and move on. Okay, so in the center here, we have the desks, and this is the boys' desks. So a couple new things here. I painted their drawer system. Adrian obviously blue, Vincent green. They still have their little supply caddies. But I have recently told my husband, or made my husband make me this awesome wooden crayon and color pencil holder. It also has their markers, anything like that, because they are doing a lot more drawing and coloring when it comes to their reading journal. And they were sharing some color pencils, actually that tray of color pencils, and that little round color pencil holder was just going from one side to the other side. And I told my husband, I just want something that goes across the desk. And at first he was like, that's kind of big, but I think it looks amazing and I love it. And if we're not using it, I could always just kind of push it to the side there and just kind of get it out of the way. And even there, it looks nice. So I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. And I think I want to say that that concludes my video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed that new look into our schoolroom. If you guys have any questions about anything, please feel free and let me know. And I'll talk to you guys later.